This here is Andy Shaffer-Bigred, and today I'm going to do a flight with the DJI Mini 3, and this is kind of like a little range test. So, yesterday I did a flight with the Air 2S, and I'm flying the exact same route, so if you've seen that video, you'll know the direction that I'm heading, but if you haven't seen that video, it's on my channel, be sure to check that out. The Mini 3 is a fantastic little drone. Man, it just does really good. It's got OcuSync 2.0. One thing about the Mini 3 is that it has two antennas, and because it's got two antennas,
Maximum flight
it
altitude
really
reached.
helps with getting out there a little bit further with better range and stuff like that. Not only that, the Mini 3 it has a wonderful flight time. It's probably now I'm using the extended flight time battery plus, and I'm probably getting 40 some minutes, flight time with the Mini 3. Now I'm using the same batteries in my Mini 3 Pro. I'm probably getting about 35, 36 minutes with the Mini 3 Pro. A lot less flight time, but I think the obstacle avoidance and the sensors and the extra features that comes with the Mini 3 Pro is causing it to use a little bit more power. But as far as the Mini 3, it's doing real good. Now, if you'll notice, I'm coming up on a mountain, so it's hard for me to see in the screen because I have the sun just glaring directly right down at I'm using the N1 controller with an iPhone, so to actually see it in my screen it's kind of hard. So I'm at 390 feet or something like that, so I'm just a little bit under the 400 legal limit, and I'm not really sure. I can't really tell if I'm going to hit the mountain, and I don't have obstacle avoidance, so I'm going to go around this mountain, um, and then kind of cut in between the valley here. And this is the same direction that I went with the Air 2S yesterday, but the Mini 3 is a fantastic little drone. I mean, it's got really good range. It's got a great camera. I mean, and the flight time is just fantastic. So if you're considering maybe getting the Mini 3, I think you can get it for like $449 right now. I mean, I actually paid $100 more when I bought it, but I bought it right when it first came out, and then they actually lowered the price. Actually, I think DJI they hurt themselves on the Mini 3 because they released the Mini 3 Pro first, and they put all these extra features like obstacle avoidance and all the camera settings and things that you can do in the camera with cinematic mode and all that, and they didn't put all these extra features in the Mini 3. So then they come back out later, a couple months later or something, or maybe just a short time later with the Mini 3, and they just really didn't it is, and you don't see a whole lot of reviews on YouTube. You don't see range tests and things like that with the Mini 3. I've searched, and the only thing I can find is mostly the Mini 3 Pro, the Mini 3 Pro. So everybody's like, going to get the Mini 3 Pro because it's the Pro, right? It's got all this extra stuff, so you might as well go ahead and pay a couple more $100 and get the good one. But let me tell you about the Mini 3. The Mini 3 is a good one. This little drone right here is fantastic. Now, if you'll notice right here, I get right here, and all of a sudden I'm pushing forward. I still got good range. I'm still got like 3 or 4 bars on my thing, but it's turned orange. And once I get up here, you'll notice I'm just sitting here for a little bit, and it just stops. And what's happening is like I'm pressing forward, but it's not going anywhere. And I'm
Maximum
wondering what's
flight
going on
distance
here.
reached.
I'm not in a geo zone. So there's no reason why it should stop. And I'm actually sitting here feeling like trying to push forward, and I'm like, well, why is it not going forward? I can look up there and I can see I still got range. My picture hasn't cut out. Still doing great. So why is it not going forward? And I've got the forward pitch pressed as hard as I can get it to go. Wide open, and but it's just sitting there. And you'll notice it's kind of drifting over just a little bit, and that's probably where I've got the motors wound out, like go, 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 you know. But it's just sitting there, and I'm not sure why. And then here in a minute, I'll think like, well, it's not going to go any further for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on, and so what I do is I decide to go ahead and turn around. You know, you can see I'm moving. I've still got good control and everything. So I decide to bring it back home. And then as I'm turning, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let me go in the settings here, and because I've always set my drones at no distance limit. And when I went into the settings, I seen that my distance was set at 6,996 feet or something like that. So what you see right here, so I've got a distance limit set on there, so I moved it up to no limit. Okay, so now I'm going to turn back around and continue on with the range test. Now, this is the same area that I flown the DJI Mini to, and I got just a little over 9,000 feet before I ended up losing signal.
Maximum flight altitude
But the
reached.
Mini 3 is still going. Like, I mean, and my Air 2S didn't make it but about 8,000 feet, and it lost picture. So, and the Air 2S has got OcuSync 3, but the Mini 3 has got a OcuSync 2. Now, honestly, to be honest with you, I think that extra antenna that they put in there, because when you read the specs on the Mini 3 and the Mini 3 Pro and Air 2S and stuff, like the Mini 3 on DJI site shows that they've got 2 antennas in the back, and I'm thinking that extra antenna has really helped. I'm using it, like I said, I'm using the N1 controller. I'm using my iPhone. So if you look right there in the corner of the screen you'll see the compass up where you can see what I'm looking at as I'm flying. That compass is a must when you're doing a range test. I see so many people on YouTube not using the compass and just using their maps. But if you'll look and you'll see that's got a green dot in the center. There's a blue arrow up there. That's the drone. The green dot is where I'm standing with the controller. It's green because the controller is pointed directly at the drone. It's got a little tiny arrow on there that you can see. And when you move the controller around, you'll see that little arrow move. Now, if I turn away from the drone, that little green dot's going to turn blue. So when you look down there and you see it's blue, that means you're not facing the drone, so you're not going to get the best signal. So if you're flying out on a range test and you're turned just a little bit in the wrong direction, facing the wrong way, it'll be blue and you're going to lose signal faster. Now, the Mini 3, I get up to 10,300 and some feet. I was just a couple hundred feet shy from being 2 miles. Right here is where I lost my picture, but you can still see the drone's location. You can still see everything on the compass, so I can see, well, watch the drone, the arrow is going to turn around, so that lets me know that the drone is coming home. Once Now, otherwise, I wouldn't know. If I was just using maps or something, I really wouldn't know.
Go
But
home.
I can look up there and I can see that little triangle turn itself around. That's letting me know that the drone, because see, I'm standing there. If you look in the corner of the screen, I don't have no picture, so I don't know what the drone's doing other than in that compass. So that compass is very important when you're out there. A lot of people's like, well, I'm scared to fly out there and lose signal. Well, if the drone flies away, that's not going to fly away. If you're connected to satellites and GPS, that drone is going to come home. The only time you're going to
Maximum
have trouble is
flight
if you
altitude
lose
reached.
battery power and it don't make it back. But you can see the drone's coming back, and shortly here I'll get my picture back, and I'll be able to see. But I'm already looking at the compass. I know the drone's headed back toward me. It's pointed back toward me, and boom, there comes my picture back in, and it's coming back out. Now, so far on this flight path right here, in this rural area, I have a lot of Wi-Fi. I've got cellular towers. I've got TV station antennas. All this stuff that's causing signal interference. Plus, I got a mountain that's in between me and the drone. So you have to take that into account. That mountain, anything that gets in between the controller and the drone, is going to interrupt your signal strength. And so if that mountain, I'm almost sure if that mountain went right there, I'd have went a lot further. So you can see that the Mini 3 is a fantastic little drone, and so far I've taken the Maverick Air 2, I've taken the Air 2S, and I've taken the DJI Mini 2 all along this path, and that is my record right there, 10,300 and some feet. I'm usually getting, I think I got like 8,000 feet with the Air 2S, 9,000 feet with the Mini 2. The Maverick Air 2 gets almost a little over 9,000 feet. With the Mini 3, 10,300 some feet. I'm at like 390 feet in altitude. Now, if I would raise that altitude up, going up there probably another 50 or 100 feet, boom, my signal would have came back in and I would have kept going forward. But then I would have been in violation of the 400 feet
Maximum
legal
flight
limit
altitude
from the
reached.
FAA set, so I don't want to do that. So I'm just keeping it a little bit under the legal limit, under 400 feet. And now when you come back up here, you'll see the drone was headed straight. The short point was headed back to that mountain. What I did is I kind of turn and I go up these little valleys that way because, like I said before, it's hard to see. It really is so hard to see when the sun is shining in your screen. You can't really tell what, you know, and when you're looking through the camera and you're like, well, am I going to clear that mountain? Am I going to hit a tree? Like that. So what I do is I turn, I come up these little valleyways, and where I know that I'm going to clear and not hit anything. Because I'm not really for sure, if how tall that mountain is, and like it's really hard to see when you're looking in the camera to judge distance or something because like you might be 100 feet above it, and you look right, and the camera, the way it is, it just looks like you're right on top of it, and especially when you're looking in the little phone and the sun's shining on it. So,
Go home.
but the thing is like if you're really considering buying the Mini 3, I'm gonna have to tell you the Mini 3 is well worth it. It's well worth the $400 and some dollars. I would, if you ask me, say, should I buy the Mini 3? Absolutely, absolutely, because you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And it doesn't have all the features like the Mini 3 Pro. Everybody's like, oh, if you're going to get one, you might as well get the Mini 3 Pro because then you get all this extra stuff. I mean, if you get the Mini 3, here's what you can count on. You're going to get at least, probably, if you get the extended range battery plus, you're going to be looking at about 40 some minutes of flight time. When I come back home after this flight, after flying out 10,300 some feet, I still have 69 or 68% battery power left. So that's almost, I mean, I only use like 30% battery going all the way out there and back. My Air 2S would have drained that down before I even got to that mountain. um, so the Mini 3 is probably the best drone that I've got as far as long flight time. So when I get back, so that's a 15-minute. I made a 15-minute video, a 15-minute flight that I'm recording. You can see on my screen recording when I land. It's right at 15 minutes. So now I've used 30% battery. So another 30% would have been another 15 minutes. So that'd been a 30-minute flight time, and then I would have still had probably enough to get another 15 minutes. So I'm probably looking at about 45 to 46-minute flight time. And the Mini 3, what I'm saying is like it's just a really, really, really good drone. So if you've been considering it but you're not sure, a lot of people they want to get on YouTube and compare them and say, oh, don't buy the Mini 3. I'm telling you, no, I'm not telling you, I'm showing you right here. That's what I like to do. I like to show you what these drones can do. I'm not just gonna sit in a room and point and explain about the aperture and all this crap, because I'm no camera expert. But I love flying drones, and I love to buy these drones because DJI said this
Landing.
drone can do it, and I want to see it do it. I just paid a lot of money for this thing, so I want to see, can it do what they said it can do. But I know if I would leave this location, take the controller, and go off to where there's no Wi-Fi, no interference, then yeah, I'd probably get double that distance. I'd say I could probably hit 20,000 feet. And I did it with the Maverick Air 2. Flying right here, I don't get that good a flight or a good a distance, but when I take the controller and the Maverick Air 2 off to a different location where there's no interference, I get out like 20,000 feet. So there's no doubt in my mind that I could do it with the Mini 3. And the Mini 3 has got the best flight time. I mean, it's got the best flight time out of all of them, so getting out there and back would be no problem. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this little range test, and this just shows you that in a rural area with a lot of interference, what you'll get. Okay, bye.